Have you ever noticed how, no matter what you try, your life just keeps cycling through the same patterns? You wake up, grab your phone, follow the same routine, same breakfast, same thoughts, same reactions. And at night, you promise yourself tomorrow will be different. But then, the next morning, it all feels exactly the same again. It's like you're stuck. But what if the problem isn't your life itself? What if the trap is actually how you're seeing your life? That's right, you're not trapped by your circumstances. You're trapped by the way your mind is observing those circumstances. And that very act of observation, it's what's constantly shaping the reality you're living in. This is where quantum physics meets your everyday experience, a concept called the observer loop. It's a continuous cycle where your consciousness keeps selecting the same version of reality over and over again without you even realizing it. Until you grasp this, you'll keep living in the same story on repeat. But here's the game changer. Once you understand how your observation creates your experience, you don't just break the cycle. You become the conscious creator of a whole new reality. Stick with me for the next few minutes, and I'll walk you through how your awareness is actively shaping your life and how you can shift it. Oh, and before we dive deeper, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. That way you won't miss the rest of these powerful insights about transforming your reality by changing how you observe it. Let's dive into a concept that might sound complex, but is deeply connected to how you experience your life every single day. It's called the observer loop, a term borrowed from quantum physics, but with powerful implications for your awareness and your reality. Have you ever noticed how certain patterns keep showing up in your life? Maybe it's the same struggles in your relationships, the same obstacles at work, or a recurring feeling that you're stuck in place, no matter how hard you try. That's the observer loop at work. In the world of quantum physics, particles don't exist in one fixed state until they are observed. Instead, they exist in what's called a superposition, all possible states at once. The moment you observe them, the possibilities collapse into a single reality. Now, apply that to your consciousness. Your awareness is what collapses this endless sea of possibilities into your lived experience, moment by moment. What you focus on, what you pay attention to, literally shapes the reality you live. But here's the catch. Most people aren't aware that they're observing life through deeply ingrained automatic filters. These unconscious patterns shape how you interpret your world, often limiting what you think is possible. So changing your external actions won't be enough if you don't change the way you see your experience. When you shift your perception, you open the door to new realities that were there all along. You just couldn't see them before. Imagine looking at a painting you've seen hundreds of times, but suddenly noticing colors, details, and emotions you never picked up on. That new perspective changes everything. But the question is, are you ready to step off autopilot and become a conscious observer of your own life? During this video, we'll explore how to recognize those automatic observation patterns, how to pause the cycle, and, most importantly, how to take control of your awareness to start creating experiences aligned with what you truly want. Think for a moment. What's the very first thing you observe when you wake up? Is it a sense of endless possibility or the weight of the same old story? Hold on to that question as we unpack how you can rewrite your reality by changing how you observe it. Have you ever wondered why, despite your best efforts, some things just don't seem to change? Maybe it's a relationship that keeps falling into the same patterns, a career that feels stuck, or a persistent voice in your head that holds you back before you even begin. When applied to consciousness, offers a profound insight. What you observe, where you place your attention, shapes the reality you experience. This isn't about luck or coincidence. It's a continuous, automatic process called the observer loop. Think of your consciousness as an invisible artist, painting the picture of your life moment by moment. Every thought, every perception, every bit of attention is a brushstroke shaping that image. But when this artist operates on autopilot, They end up repeating the same strokes again and again, unaware they're stuck in a pattern. That's how the observer loop creates realities that feel impossible to escape. Now, in quantum physics, particles exist in a state called superposition, meaning they hold all possibilities at once until someone observes them. At the moment of observation, that superposition collapses into a single reality, a defined path. If you apply this to your consciousness, your attention is what selects from infinite possibilities the reality you live. Here's the catch. Most of the time, you're not consciously observing. Your mind is running on well-worn filters shaped by past experiences, beliefs, and fears. That's why you often see your world, relationships, work, emotions, the same way every time, collapsing the quantum field into repeated, familiar experiences. It's like watching the same movie over and over, just with different costumes. For example, if you believe you can't advance in your career, your observation will collapse the possibilities into that limited path. You might try new actions, but as long as your perception stays the same, you're likely to get similar results. It's like trying to paint a new picture with old brushes worn down by habit. This automatic repetition is the trap of the observer loop. But it's not just external reality. This loop also runs inside your mind, in your thoughts and emotions. You tell yourself the same stories, feel the same emotions, and reinforce this cycle within you. The good news? Recognizing this loop creates a doorway to freedom. The first step to breaking it is becoming aware of how you observe. Not just observing life, but noticing how you observe life. This tiny shift is revolutionary. Imagine, for a moment, waking up and realizing that your very first thought of the day, the one that sets your mood, doesn't have to be automatic. You can choose it consciously. That pause, that moment of choice is where change begins. But it takes practice. You have to learn to observe without judgment or immediate reaction. This is where the quantum pause comes in. A deliberate stillness before engaging with your day, allowing infinite possibilities to exist before you collapse them into a specific reality. Visualize yourself in that space. Your surroundings are the same, but your mind is open, receptive, and free from past patterns. That slight change shifts your energetic frequency and opens the door for new experiences. That's your entry point out of the endless loop. You might be thinking, okay, I get it, but how do I actually change this in real life? Changing your observation isn't just about flipping a mental switch. It's a deeper process, becoming aware of the mental and emotional filters shaping your perception day to day. Think of it like this. Your mind wears a pair of glasses through which you see everything, but those glasses are smudged, scratched, and colored by past experiences, fears, and limiting beliefs. When you look through these lenses, your view is narrow and distorted. Changing how you see means cleaning or swapping those glasses. But how? The first step is non-judgmental awareness. That means noticing your thoughts, feelings, and reactions like a curious scientist, not a judge. For example, when anxiety pops up, instead of pushing it away or labeling it bad, simply observe it. Feel where it sits in your body, what story it carries. This curious, gentle observation creates a gap between you and your automatic reaction. And that gap is where transformation begins. To help cultivate this, try what I call the quantum pause. Before reacting to anything, your reflection in the mirror, a difficult conversation, or a challenging thought, pause intentionally. Take a deep breath, slow down. Remind yourself that this moment isn't predetermined. You have the power to choose how to observe and respond. This pause opens a portal to new patterns, a new energetic frequency. And energy matters because your body, mind, and emotions vibrate on certain frequencies that attract matching experiences. If your frequency is stuck in fear or scarcity, you attract those realities. But when you observe with awareness and presence, your frequency lifts. Suddenly, new possibilities appear. Now, consider relationships. How often do you enter a conversation expecting the same old response? How often do you think, they'll never change, or this will go wrong? These thoughts collapse the quantum possibilities into the same old dynamic. But what if you looked at the person as a field of infinite potential? What if you paused before judgment and embraced curiosity and openness? That subtle shift transforms the interaction. The old pattern breaks, and a new dance begins. This isn't just wishful thinking or positive vibes. It's quantum mechanics applied to how you live. That said, your nervous system is wired to seek safety, even if that means repeating painful patterns. So changing observation takes courage. You have to be willing to feel discomfort, to live in the space between what's familiar and what's unknown. That space, the liminal zone, is where all transformation happens. It's not easy, and it takes commitment. But each conscious pause, each moment of awareness, chips away at the automatic loop. And slowly, you become an active artist of your experience, not just a passive observer. There's something many people overlook when trying to break free from these cycles: the energetic aspect of your observation. Your consciousness isn't just a mental process. It's a full-body vibrational experience. Imagine tuning a radio. If you're set to a static-filled station, the music is unclear and frustrating. But when you adjust the dial, suddenly the song flows beautifully and effortlessly. Your energy works the same way. If you vibrate with fear, doubt, or scarcity, you attract experiences that mirror those feelings. But when you consciously raise your frequency through presence, gratitude, or self-love, your reality shifts accordingly. That's why merely thinking positive thoughts rarely brings lasting change if your body and emotions remain stuck in old patterns. True transformation is holistic. It integrates mind, body, and energy. This calls for practices that go beyond thoughts, like mindful breathing, gentle movement, and meditation focused on tuning your energetic state. As you start practicing these, you'll notice quick shifts. Things become easier, lighter. Opportunities you never saw before start showing up. In the quantum field, changes in observation ripple out immediately. Here's another big challenge: the ego. The ego loves familiarity. Even if it causes pain, it clings to the stories and identities that feel safe. When you begin to break the observer loop, the ego resists, with fear, doubt, even self-sabotage. This process is sometimes called ego death, letting go of the old self to make way for a new you. It can be scary and disorienting, but it's also where real growth happens. If you meet this space with patience and compassion, you'll discover a renewed strength within. You begin to watch your own consciousness with kindness, gently dissolving the blocks holding the loop in place. And when those barriers fall, your reality starts to expand in ways you never imagined. Change no longer feels forced. It becomes a natural, flowing process. You transform from someone stuck in patterns to a conscious creator of your experience. Now that you understand what the observer loop is and how your perception keeps you trapped in repetitive patterns, let's explore how to truly sustain a meaningful transformation. Changing how you observe is a daily practice. It doesn't happen overnight. It requires commitment to presence, attention, and patience with yourself. The first step is to become aware of your automatic patterns throughout the day. Notice, without pressure, the thoughts and feelings that arise in moments of challenge, conflict, or decision-making. These moments reveal where your observer loop is strongest. For instance, you might find that when things get tough, your mind immediately shifts to worry or criticism, strengthening limiting beliefs. The key here is not to push away these thoughts or feelings, but to acknowledge their presence as part of your current system. When you observe them with curiosity, you create a pause, a moment between stimulus and response. This pause is what I call the quantum field of choice. It's a powerful space where countless possibilities exist, waiting for you to select the reality you want to create. To hold that space consistently, you need to align your energy. Remember the radio metaphor, when your thoughts, emotions, and intentions resonate together in harmony. You enter a state of coherence. This coherence invites positive, aligned experiences to flow into your life more easily. One practical way to achieve this coherence is through mindful breathing. By focusing on your breath, you anchor yourself in the present moment and calm the busy mind. Try taking slow, deep breaths, feeling each inhale and exhale, and grounding yourself in your body. This simple act helps regulate your nervous system, lowering anxiety and increasing your ability to respond instead of react. Movement also plays a role. Mindful walking or gentle stretches can release built-up tension and rebalance your energy. Together, breath and movement lay a foundation for conscious observation and new patterns to form. Another crucial element is self-compassion. Observing yourself without harsh judgment softens resistance, making the process of transformation gentler and more sustainable. Remember, growth is not about perfection. It's about embracing your authentic journey with kindness. A helpful mindset shift is to see your thoughts and emotions like passing clouds, temporary phenomena in the vast sky of your awareness. By not identifying too closely with them, you weaken the internal observer loop that keeps you stuck. Imagine feeling nervous before a big meeting. Your usual pattern might be to spiral into "what if I fail?" or "I'm not ready." But if you simply notice that nervousness, feel where it lives in your body, and recognize it as a temporary state, you create space for a different experience. You can then choose to focus on your intention, perhaps to communicate clearly or listen deeply. This choice shifts your energetic frequency and often changes the outcome. You can apply this approach anywhere: relationships, work, creativity, health. The observer loop isn't an external problem. It's an internal dynamic you can learn to observe and redirect. Another powerful tool is cultivating radical curiosity. This isn't the casual, "oh, that's interesting" kind of curiosity. It's the deep, open-hearted willingness to explore your thoughts, feelings, and habits without judgment or expectation. When you approach your patterns this way, transformation happens naturally, almost effortlessly. Think about how a child explores the world, wide-eyed, fascinated, unafraid of mistakes. This energy is exactly what you need to rediscover in your relationship with yourself. Also, pay attention to your environment. If your daily life, relationships, and media consumption constantly reinforce old limiting patterns, breaking free becomes harder. Creating intentional spaces, moments of silence, consuming uplifting content, connecting with supportive people nurtures expanded awareness. Remember, you're not alone in this. When one person shifts their observer loop, it impacts the collective field. Your personal growth radiates outwards, making it easier for others to awaken. This collective ripple effect makes conscious observation a form of service. But resistance is normal. Doubt, discomfort, the urge to quit, all common on this path. Commit to small daily steps. Maybe start with a minute of mindful pause before reacting, or simply notice one recurring thought without judgment. The key is consistency, presence, and self-kindness. Now, here's an invitation. Try experiencing yourself as an observer who creates their reality with intention. This is freedom within the observer loop. Before we wrap up, here's something to consider. Even with all this awareness, old habits and thoughts will sometimes pull you back into familiar patterns. That's normal. It's part of the process. The real challenge is choosing, moment by moment, to return to conscious observation instead of slipping into autopilot. This journey doesn't end here. In fact, it's just getting started. If you want to keep deepening your awareness and learn practical ways to stay present and create new realities, I invite you to check out the next video right here. Keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep tuning into your power as the observer of your life. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.